All right, y'all, I got some big breaking news stories here for you. We got a busy news day today, a lot of stuff to get to. So there are some new Trump Epstein leaks, which are absolutely mind-boggling. So it comes from the writer Michael Wolff, and the one part of this that is super eyebrow-raising from his perspective is that he sat on this for 7 years, which is insane when you're about to hear the nature of what he was holding back, okay? So Daily Beast reports that Michael Wolff says Epstein had pictures of Trump with, quote, topless young women. And he goes on to say it was in an Epstein safe, which the FBI later seized. What? So Daily Beast dropped this last night, Halloween night, and I haven't seen this much, at least not yet, on mainstream media. Sorry, the dog is kicking the tripod here. I haven't seen this much on mainstream media, but this is like, I mean, you want to talk about an October surprise. We have pictures that Jeffrey Epstein had of Trump with young, topless women. And now the FBI has those pictures. Charges dropping when? Can I get a countdown? Can I get a timeline? Like, what are we talking about here? If this was a story that was about Bill Clinton, keep it real, it would be literally all over right-wing Twitter. You would have every new corporate media outlet online talking about this endlessly. It probably would make it through to mainstream media if it was about Bill Clinton. But when it comes to Trump, I don't know how he just, you know, everything just like water off a duck's ass. It just doesn't stick. Well, that's why I'm here, to try to make it stick, because this is incredible. Now, it goes beyond that, though, because there are hundreds of hours of tapes that Michael Wolff has of Jeffrey Epstein, and this was during the time frame that Trump was president after 2016. So while Trump was in office, this guy, Michael Wolff, has hundreds of hours of Epstein talking, and it's about his connection to and relationship with Trump and the broader Trump White House. So one of these tapes has been released, and let me go ahead and play it for you. You're going to hear first Michael Wolff, and then you'll hear the audio of Jeffrey Epstein in 2017. They were at a restaurant, and listen to the stuff that Jeffrey Epstein says.
I think we have a snippet from one of the conversations that I recorded with Epstein, and I think this was in a restaurant in 2017.
His people fight each other.
Right.
And then have outsiders. He sort of poisons the well outside. He will tell 10 people Bannon's a scumbag and Priest is not doing a good job.
So do you hear what he's saying? Basically, Trump does divide and conquer with his own people in his own administration. He'll go, yeah, Bannon's a scumbag to other people who work in his White House. And he goes, oh, Reince Priebus isn't doing a good job. He says that behind Reince Priebus's back. Here's more.
Kelly has a big mouth.
Kellyanne has a big mouth.
What do you think? Jamie Dimon says that you're a problem and I shouldn't keep you.
Jamie Dimon says you're a problem and I shouldn't keep you. Jamie Dimon is a banker. The banker is directly controlling the White House? Jamie Dimon?
And I spoke to Carl Icahn.
Another billionaire.
The new spokesperson. So Kelly, even though I hired Kellyanne's husband, Kellyanne is just too much of a wild one. And then he tells Bannon, thinking, I really want to keep you, but Kellyanne hates you.
I have more than dozens. I probably have 100 hours of Epstein talking about the inner workings of the Trump White House and about his long-standing, deep relationship with Donald Trump.
So understand something. The stuff that Epstein was talking about there is no way he could have gotten that information but directly through Donald Trump. Because he's talking about things directly from Trump's perspective. This is what I said to this person. This is what I said to that person. This is how I played them off of each other. Bannon, I really want to keep you, but Kellyanne thinks you're an asshole and you got to go and you're hurting the administration. He knew the deep, intricate, complex inner workings of the White House social circle. And who played off who and whose personalities clashed and who was in the midst of a power struggle. Jeffrey Epstein knew the inner workings of the Trump administration. Now, by the way, I should point out, there is deep speculation based on decent evidence. I've even seen this reported in some relatively mainstream outlets that Jeffrey Epstein could have been an intelligence asset. Now, some people say CIA. I think it's much more likely it's Mossad, Israeli CIA, right? But even if it's not that, he clearly had a very deep relationship with Donald Trump. Trump and Epstein were closer than anybody had previously thought. This was also verified by an article that dropped recently. There was a model who came out and told her story. She said in 1993, Donald Trump basically sexually abused me, sexually harassed me, sexually abused me. It fits his MO of the whole grab him by the pussy thing. He apparently grabbed her in forbidden places upon meeting her. And it was Jeffrey Epstein who introduced this woman to Donald Trump. When he did that, then afterwards, this woman went back to Epstein, and Epstein was like berating her, like, why would you do such a thing? And she said it was all part of like a sick game that they were playing with each other. That's right. Donald Trump had a sexual abuse game he played with Jeffrey Epstein. Why is this not the biggest news in the country? Why is this video clip not the biggest news in the country? Hey, conspiratorial right-wingers who say anything and everything is a conspiracy theory, and we're going to look 7 layers deep when it comes to anything involving a Democrat. Where the fuck are you? This is like, forget evidence. This is proof of an incredibly deep connection between Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. And how the hell did Epstein know all the inner workings of the Trump White House? And then, do they have nothing to say whatsoever about Epstein having pictures of Trump with young topless women, and it was in a safe of his, and the FBI sees that? They have nothing to say about that? Are they going to pretend like that didn't happen? That's exactly what they're going to do, because they like Trump. So they overlook anything and everything that's negative about him. I'm sorry, but look, this fits with his character. This fits with who the guy is. That's why there's that video also of Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump. I believe it was at Mar-a-Lago, where you see these women dancing, and Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump are sitting there. Trump is dancing, and he points. He says, that one's really hot. And Epstein's next to him, nodding his head along. Remember, he said, Epstein likes him young. He likes him young. How disturbing is that? Remember when Ghislaine Maxwell was caught, and what did Trump say? I wish you're well. I wish you're well. Guys, and that brings me to maybe the most important point in this conversation. So those are the new leaks that we learned, right? But Steve Bannon, this is reporting that goes all the way back to October 2021. Steve Bannon contacted Jeffrey Epstein over worries that he would flip on Trump. That was from a book that was released at the time. Stop and think about that. So Bannon knew, hey, the one person who really can tank Trump and Trumpism is Jeffrey Epstein, because he knows where all the bodies are buried. He knows everything this guy did. He's probably got a tremendous amount of evidence of very dark, repulsive things that Donald Trump was involved in. And so Bannon was worrying, hey, make sure Jeffrey doesn't flip. Make sure Jeffrey doesn't flip. And oh, by the way, look at that. Jeffrey ended up dead. And it turns out the security camera didn't work when Epstein killed himself, right? Donald Trump is way more deeply connected to these things than anybody previously thought. This is wild stuff, bro. This is wild stuff. So huge news there. Had to give you guys that. But I also have some other stuff for you as well. So look, I got to be honest with you guys. JD Vance went on Joe Rogan's podcast. And I sat through the whole Trump thing. I took notes. You can go watch my breakdown of that. But I literally could not bring myself to sit through a full podcast of Joe Rogan and JD Vance. I couldn't do it. I know I was going to be annoyed. I know I was going to be disappointed. I know it was going to be pathetic. I could not bring myself to do it. All I saw was the little clips floating around social media. And of course, those are mostly horrific. So before I even get into the clip that I have here, let me ask this. And if you've watched the podcast, please comment below and let me know what you saw. But here's a question. Did Joe or JD Vance ever mention the PRO Act? Did the PRO Act come up once? You know, Mr. JD Vance, I'm a populist. I'm looking out for working people. Oh, really? You're against the PRO Act, which is the pro-union piece of legislation, which would make life way better for working people and raise their pay. Are you for that or are you against that? That's right, you're against that. Did it come up? Hey, you virtue signal like you're pro-worker, but you're not in favor of the PRO Act. What's wrong with you? Did it come up that JD Vance is not in favor of raising the minimum wage? And he was asked a question about that by a reporter not that long ago, and he completely dodged the question in the same way Trump did too, by the way, when he was working at McDonald's and he was asked about the minimum wage, and he totally dodged the question. They're not in favor of raising the minimum wage. Did the fact that JD Vance has a 0% on his AFL-CIO union report card, did that come up? Did that come up at all? I'm going to guess no. I'm going to guess no. Again, you guys tell me. You put it in the comment section below. Happy to be corrected if that's not the case. Did it come up that J.D. Vance virtue signals like he's in favor of extending the child tax credit, which he said before on the campaign trail. But oh, would you look at that? They actually just had a vote in the Senate on extending the child tax credit, and he didn't even show up for it. He didn't even show up for it. If you're for it, show me you're for it. Go cast your vote in favor of it. You didn't. And by the way, over 40 Republicans were against raising the child tax credit. So he's a liar. He's a con man. He's a fraud. So I couldn't bring myself to sit through it because I know Joe wouldn't ask the questions that need to be asked. But this one right here really takes the cake, what you're about to hear right here. So Rogan and Vance are talking about abortion, and Rogan says something really interesting about how you have these extreme laws which are making it so that women can't even leave a red state and go to a blue state to get reproductive health care. And Rogan says, look, that's basically like the state completely and utterly owns your body and can tell you what to do with it. And that's uncomfortable. That's unacceptable. I don't like that. Right? So this is what Rogan says. And then J.D. Vance, J.D. Vance chimes in at the end and listen to what he says. And then boy, oh boy, do I have something to play for you.
And I'm concerned with this idea that you could be prosecuted for it in your state for doing something that's legal somewhere else.
I don't like the idea, to be clear. I've not heard of this maybe as like a possibility, but not as something that actually exists in the law. But I've not heard of somebody being arrested, and I don't like the idea of arresting people for moving about the country.
I haven't heard of them doing it either. I've heard of the discussion.
I've heard as a threat.
Yes.
Bro, I don't even know what you're talking about. I mean, I don't like the idea. I don't even know what you're talking about, bro. Oh, really? Here's a clip of J.D. Vance from not that long ago, just a few years back, talking about this exact issue. You ready?
Let's say Roe versus Wade is overruled. Ohio bans abortion, in 2022 or let's say 2024. And then, every day, George Soros sends a 747 to Columbus to load up disproportionately black women to get them to go have abortions in California. Of course, the left will celebrate this as a victory for diversity. That's kind of creepy,
Hell's justice is only exterminate working class black people.
Something like that could, that would be a really weird turn of events that could happen, yes.
And it's like, if that happens, do you need some federal response to prevent it from happening? Because it's really creepy. And, I'm pretty sympathetic to that, actually. Okay, look, here's...
So in other words, J.D. Vance was advocating the exact policy position that Rogan was talking about and saying, hey, I don't like this. And J.D. was like, bro, I don't even know about that, bro. Like, I don't even really like that idea. I don't know if anybody's even really talking about that, bro. Here he is saying he supports that exact policy position. J.D. Vance lied directly to Joe Rogan's face. He lied right to his face. Joe, I hope you see this. I hope you see this. This is who these people are. Trump lied to your face repeatedly. He lied to your face repeatedly. He said to your face, lock her up. I never said lock her up about Hillary Clinton. When the audience would say that, I'd go, whoa, I don't know about that. That was a fucking lie. Cue the compilation of Trump saying lock her up 75 fucking times, right? This is a brazen lie told right to your face, Joe Rogan. These people are liars. That's what they do. They lie. They just want power. That's all they want. They want to lord over everybody. They want to call the shots. And they're slimy, weaselly scumbags who can't even be direct with you about what their own fucking positions are. And this is why I was very critical of Joe. Don't have this conversation with Trump or J.D. Vance unless you're equipped for it. Joe admitted in the past he didn't have the bag of tools he needed to do these kinds of conversations. He admitted that himself. And he also said, hey, I don't want to inadvertently help these people. I don't know about all the details and the corruption and the this and the that. And then here he is having these conversations. So, that is just, Jesus Christ, bro. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? There's also a part of the vaccine where J.D. Vance says he's been, quote, red-pilled about vaccines because after he took the COVID vaccine, he felt bad for 2 days. And, he's basically saying, like, was it really worth it to get the vaccine? When I felt worse from the vaccine than I did from when I got COVID, and it was like a sinus infection. And basically he's like, regrets taking the vaccine, basically. Yeah, great idea as a vice presidential candidate to go out there and cast doubt on vaccines. They're just an anti-vax party now. Let's call a spade a spade. They're just an anti-vax party now. So we got all that. Then this broke, I believe last night or this morning, This went mega viral. Trump was doing an event in Glendale, Arizona with Tucker Carlson, and they're talking about Liz Cheney, and Trump says the following.
And I don't blame him for sticking with his daughter, but his daughter is a very dumb individual, very dumb. She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face. You know,
when your opponent's main argument against you is that you're an authoritarian and you're a fascist, maybe it's not the best idea to go out there and say, hey, what if we point 9 guns at Liz Cheney's face? What if we put her in front of a firing squad? This is the same guy who also tweeted that Liz Cheney should be put in front of a military tribunal, right? And she's a traitor and she's committed treason. This is the conversation that we're having now, guys. This is the conversation. Now, I've made it clear a million times over, I'm no fan of Liz Cheney. The reason I'm no fan of Liz Cheney is because she voted 93% of the time with Donald Trump, right? So I don't like Liz Cheney. But when your opponent calls you a fascist and you're like, we should put the people I don't like in front of a firing squad, Jesus fucking Christ, man. Jesus Christ. Look, you have to call a spade a spade. The vibes in this race have completely shifted away from Trump. Post the Trump assassination attempt, the first one, everybody and their mother were like, damn, Trump is almost certainly going to win now. Then they did the old switcheroo, got out Biden, put in Kamala Harris, and now the vibes have completely shifted. Trump is completely and utterly and thoroughly unhinged. All he cares about is his own grievance. All he cares about is revenge and retribution. Kamala said it. Hey, he's got an enemies list. I got a to-do list. You think this shit is landing with the American people? It's making people like me, who despise Liz Cheney with a burning passion and have never said anything positive about Liz Cheney, it's making people like me go, God damn, man, you're going way, 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 way too far here. Because nobody actually believes Trump, oh, yeah, he's going to be fair, he's going to dot every I, he's going to cross every T, he's going to have legitimate investigations, he's going to find people guilty, he's going to lock them up in that scenario. No, you want to go after your political opponent. The enemy within. We're going after the enemy within, folks. We're going to send the military, the National Guard, and go after the enemy within. This is crazy, bro. This is crazy. Just proving every word Kamala's been saying, every word that the harshest resistance liberals have been saying about him, proven 100% correct every time he opens his goddamn mouth. Every time. And by the way, I also love, calls her a war hawk. Motherfucker, you're a war hawk. You are a war hawk. You can't just erase your own record. But that's what he tries to do, and he just lies. By the way, again, the biggest lie in politics, there's 2 of the biggest lies in politics that are spread around these days by MAGA like crazy. Trump is pro-free speech, and Trump is anti-war. Neither one of those things are true. And by the way, just further evidence, this is a new story that just came out yesterday about Trump hating free speech. Trump is suing CBS for $10 billion over the Kamala Harris interview. What are you doing? What a completely and utterly unhinged person. This is like when he sued Bill Maher for $5 million because Bill Maher told a joke about him. Incredibly authoritarian. Anybody who supports Trump and pretends like he's pro-free speech and pretends like he's anti-war, let me be clear about it. They are lying. They're lying. They don't even mean it because they've seen at least one of the dozens and dozens of things that debunk their narrative and they don't care. There's a video of RFK. Before he endorsed Trump, he did a press conference where the whole point was to call Trump a neocon and a war hawk and say J.D. Vance is the CIA's wet dream, and here's all the hawkish policies that he did. And then the second he flips and hops on the Trump train, all of a sudden it's, bro, he's so anti-war and he's so free speech, bro. These people are complete and total hacks. All right, now, finally, I won't play you the video of this one, but I'll just tell you what it is. Tucker Carlson was on some, like, weird religious channel. Here, let me give you the name. He was on Christiantesmovie.com? Whatever. I don't know the name of this thing. That's what it says on the bottom right portion of the screen. Anyway, it's some like weird, it's some weird religious show, right? And Tucker is talking to this guy. They got some dramatic music playing in the background. And Tucker's like, bro, can I tell you a story, bro? So like a year and a half ago, I was in my bed at night and I had my dogs around me and I had my wife around me. And I woke up in the middle of the night, bro. And I was like being attacked and it was crazy. It was really painful. And I went for a walk and I was like, what just happened? And I looked at my belly and I saw there were like claw marks, bro. And it was like, I was bleeding, bro. and they got me on the shoulder, and they got me on the ribs. And I was like, bro, what's going on? And then I realized I was attacked by a demon in the middle of the night. I'm not kidding. And he brings up, I learned then that this is all spiritual warfare. Spiritual warfare is going on. I was attacked by a demon in the middle of the night, and I was bleeding as a result of it. Alex Jones was tweeting about this, like, it's so brave of Tucker to come out and tell the truth about how he was attacked by a demon. He told me the story a while ago. I can verify it. Oh, you can verify it. You're verifying the story about the demon attack. And I think Alex Jones was like, this has been happening to a lot of high-profile people who are trying to save the republic from the deep state. They're being attacked by demons. They're being attacked by demons in real time. This is what Tucker has become. This is what Tucker has become. It's amazing. This is a guy, remember when we got the Dominion lawsuit and we saw the internal emails and text messages among the Fox News hosts? And what did Tucker Carlson say? Tucker was like, literally nothing positive has come out of the Trump administration. Trump is a wrecking ball. He's horrible. I hate him with a burning passion. I can't wait to never talk about him again. And then now he's out there on the campaign trail coddling Trump's nutsack, giving him a hot stone massage, giving him a happy ending every night, right? Just sucking him off endlessly. Oh, Trump, you're the best, bro. You're taking on the deep state, bro. You're amazing, bro. Every night is this. We know what you actually think. We've seen the text. We've seen it. You're going to pull the wool over everybody's eyes? And the answer is, for the right, yeah, he's pulling the wool over their eyes. And they don't care. As long as you're saying the things they want to hear now, they don't care about your past. They don't care about anything else. Even if you're lying, even if the whole thing is like, I don't actually believe this, I'm just saying the shit you idiots want to hear. They're like, don't care, I love it. Look at fucking Russell Brand. Obviously, the only reason he did the MAGA two-step and did the turn is because there were like 7,800 women who were like, yeah, man, this guy's like a rapist and he's horrible and he did all these terrible things. And now he's out there like, I've changed my mind. I'm an evangelical Christian now. I'm baptized in my tighty-whities. Yes, I'm a Christian. And the Lord has a very direct and personal relationship with me. And isn't Donald Trump wonderful? And isn't RFK wonderful? And aren't they so anti-war and pro-free speech? These guys are all hacks. It's amazing. Just one side of nothing but pure charlatans and con men and frauds. You got attacked by a demon, Tucker Carlson? You expect everybody to listen to that and be like, bro, it's a fact. He said it. Like, what? What are you talking about? What? Oh, my God. Oh, what am I going to do with these people? Guys, this is what's become of the right. This is what's become of the right. I mean, this is like what happened on CNN the other day where Ryan Gerdusky said to Mehdi Hassan, I hope your beeper doesn't go off. That's him making a joke saying, hey, you're Muslim, therefore you're a terrorist, right? The right has a real problem. They have an extremism problem. The former Booker for Rising came out and was like, look, I book shows that have left-wing people on and right-wing people on. We have a problem here. It's almost impossible to find right-wing people who are normal. Every single one of them is utterly psychotic. They're like 4chan neo-Nazis or writers for Richard Spencer or whatever, fill in the blank with whatever kind of extremism you want to see. But it doesn't take long to find a social media post of any of these right-wingers praising Mein Kampf for some shit. So you got people, I was attacked by a demon. Really? I love Hitler. This is the shit going on the right. I don't see anything with Trump and Epstein, even though 48 stories just dropped about how they were buddies and they were besties and there's incredible detail and now fucking audio of Epstein talking about Trump. I don't hear it. I don't see it. What are we doing, bro? What are we doing? We're only a few days away until the election. I'm giving you all the information you need. That's all I'll say.